Let's finish the last part of this series where we go through every single position group and we test to see what archetype develops better than the other, so y'all know who to recruit and who to avoid. Today we have the safeties. Also, we're going to throw in the fullbacks, kickers, and punters, because why not, man? So after this, we will do the offense and defense tier list in 2 separate videos. So be on the lookout for that. If y'all enjoyed this content so far, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, check out the Twitch, and let's hop in. All right, man. So the safeties. So we're gonna group together the free safeties and the strong safeties, as both of the archetypes are the exact same, man. I believe they develop the same also, even though you kind of see here the free safeties are just higher in overall on average than the strong safeties. And, free safeties you see here, the highest overall 92, and you only get one guy in the 90s. But if you look at the overall in the top right corner, 89 is really the highest overall strong safety. Compared to free safety, you got a couple guys up in the 90s. Now, I think that's really due to, I think it's less free safety or strong safeties in this game in each recruiting class. So, obviously, we say this every single time. We simmed years into the future, so every single player is AI generated, and all these archetypes have this chance to develop evenly. Will it ever be completely even? No, because some coaches have better coach builds that leads to them developing better. For example, you have, Georgia here with so many safeties as the best safeties in the nation. So the free safety, you got the best free safety from Georgia. Then go over to strong safety. The second best is from Georgia. You go down, like the 6th best is also from Georgia. And the 9th best is also from Georgia. And you see these guys developing a little bit better, maybe because of coach build. So we also got to keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, we're doing what we can. So let's look here, man. So first of all these safeties are usable. Let me get that out the way. It's 3 safeties. You got the coverage, the box specialist, and then also the hybrid. But I think it's one guy, for me at least, that I like a little bit better than the others. And it's close. It's not super, it's not like last year where the hybrid safeties was trash. So let's look at, the best coverage specialist, Trey, who's a 92 overall with 94 speed. So with the coverage specialist, they're going to come in the fastest, man. And they're also going to develop the most speed. So if you want a guy that's fast, you want to go with the coverage specialist. So zone coverage, elite, But the interesting thing is this is going to be, the only safety where zone and man are separate. So zone coverage at 96, and it's not even, it's just past halfway there, man. Like, it could get a lot better. It could go to 99. Well, he could get his play recognition up into the 90s also, damn near. But it costs 6 to upgrade, and then also the man coverage costs 8 to upgrade, but it's farther along, and you get an 88 man, 81 press, 99 change direction. Like, this is really a cornerback or a slot corner, in my opinion, man. Maybe play this guy in the slot or at cornerback. But if you want to play him at safety, feel free, But these guys could cover better than cornerbacks, literally. 94 speed, 90 acceleration. Acceleration maybe a tad bit low for some guys. Also, agility at 86 might also be low. But you also get the run stop ability at an elite level. Costing 8, but you're talking about 90 tackling, 92 pursuit. And this is obviously the best safety in the nation. But he could literally do everything but his stick. He don't have any power to his game, and he'll never have power. So 69 on the hit power, and then also jumping is factor in there at 91. And then hands is also going to be elite. Why can he catch better than some receivers? He got 95 catching, 75 catching traffic, and also 72 spectacular catch, and that'll factor into one of his abilities. It costs 5 to upgrade his hands, but that could continue to go up. So let's also look at his physical abilities. And first one is going to be ball hawk, improved break on passes. Has to do with awareness, which is, interesting that it has to do with awareness out of all categories. And, awareness has to do with his zone coverage. So he has to continue to upgrade that zone to get better awareness. But in most cases, you probably wouldn't upgrade the zone anymore because already at 96, but interesting. So also you get the layout ability that has to do with spectacular catches. You only need a 72 spectacular catch, but these safeties, they got to develop it, man. They're not going to come in with elite spectacular catch. In this case, you got the best safety with only getting this ability or able to get this ability on bronze if he wants to buy it. You get house call on platinum, on purple, and that's another good ability. Improve interception animations, pretty much a good ability. So combine this with layout, house call, and even throw in a robber, improve movement and zone coverage. Another very good ability, especially for a safety. And then you get the knockout ability as well, where you could pretty much knock the ball out if you are in good coverage with it, or pretty much you're just covering a guy well. You're able to knock the ball out when he's trying to catch it. So this guy is good. Coverage specialist is definitely a good safety. Next, the box specialist, and this is probably my least favorite. Probably my least favorite. One thing you're going to note instantly: slower. Definitely slow. The slowest out the 3 archetypes. 82 speed on your best box specialist. For a lot of guys that probably don't get it done. You got D lineman that's literally going to be faster in them. But the next guy, 86 speed. Maybe that's a little bit more workable. But then you sometimes get guys like this with 93 speed. It all depends on the skill caps, man. It depends how the skill caps are allocated. And this guy's able to continue to develop the speed. Let's look at the guy in the middle with the 86 speed. He's a 91 overall from North Carolina. And let's look at him, see his breakdown. He's a 5-star, former 5-star. IQ costs 5 to upgrade. It has to do with awareness and play recognition. Your pass coverage is grouped all together. But it doesn't start nowhere near as high as the coverage specialist, man. These box safeties will never be great in coverage. Could they be serviceable? 100%. Do you want to put them in man coverage? Never. Absolutely never. Combined with the low speed and also the low man coverage, I mean, it's a linebacker borderline, man. Like, this is borderline a linebacker in man coverage. 73 man, 71 press, 85 zone. That's workable. That's usable. He's also 6 foot, 220 pounds, so they're going to be a little bit heavier, a little bit taller also than other safeties because, their whole thing is stopping the run. That's what the box specialist is. So cost 5 to upgrade that coverage, and it could get a lot better, man. That zone coverage could get up into the 90s, and then that man coverage could also get into the 80s. But this is a junior, and he might even go into the NFL after this year. But quickness, it's not maxed out. He could get faster. Cost 14. He got more acceleration than speed. I know some guys really care about acceleration more, so this is not that bad, maybe for some guys. Run support, this is where he stands out. You're getting elite, or you should be getting elite run support, right? 86 tackling. 86 tackling, I need that to be a lot higher because when I go look at Trey, and Trey, the cover specialist, is talking about 90 tackling. Come on, man. I need more separation. I can't have the cover specialist a better tackler than, the box safety. The box safeties, it's going to be a couple of these guys with lower tackling. Block shedding at 74, pursuit at 89. But then the hit power would really make them stand out. Maybe not the tackling, but the hit power is, where you're getting your money at with Barry. So 89 on the hit power, strength on 75. Now the hands, catching traffic, the spectacular, going to be low, but 81 catching is usable. That's workable, man. 81 catching. It could get a lot better. Only costs 3 to upgrade that. So he could really get hands up into the 90, catching up into the 90 if he wanted to. Also, run support costs 7, the power costs 12. And then you look at his abilities, and this is, where you're probably going to get your money at when it comes to like actually tackling abilities and abilities that's going to, Aftershock right here is a very good ability if you're able to get a hit stick. You get this ability up on silver, gold, get a hit stick on the quarterback, he might be done for the game. You're going to put him in some pain. This is a very good ability. So unfortunately, you need 90 hit power just to get that thing on silver. And we talking about one of the best box specialists in the league, and he don't even have the ability in Hall of Fame. So Hall of Fame abilities, like some Hall of Fame abilities in this game are just super rare compared to others. Like Robber, you're going to see a lot of guys with Robber on Hall of Fame compared to Aftershock. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if nobody in the nation had Aftershock on Hall of Fame. So it's just interesting. Some abilities are more accessible than others. Wrap Up is going to be a tackling ability. Unfortunately, 88 tackling is the requirement. He's currently at 86. So good ability, very good ability. Especially for this type safety, you need this ability. 86 tackling, don't get it done, needs to improve. Hit power or hammer is going to be a hit stick ability that has to do with hit power. He needs a 90 to get it on silver. He currently has it on bronze, but good ability. Another hit stick ability. Pair that with aftershock. That's good. Improve hit stick animations, then improved wear and tear on the guy that you hit. That's very good. Blow up also. This has to do with pretty much impact block and resistance. Pursuit being a requirement is interesting, but he do have enough pursuit. Now workhorse is an interesting one because it's currently at an 87 there, and his toughness is his requirement, and these guys cannot upgrade toughness. It's almost like some of this stuff wasn't thought through. It's almost like, it's almost like that. I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but it really feels like some of this stuff was not thought out. So, like I said, toughness is the requirement for this workhorse ability. Protection from wear and tear, which could be a good ability, especially for a guy that's probably going to be doing a lot of hit sticks or a lot of tackling, playing in the box. And for him to never get this ability because he can't upgrade toughness that's bad, man. Like, throw the toughness into the power. Like, throw it in there so we can just upgrade it. Or throw it into the IQ. Throw it somewhere, or in the run support. Just throw the toughness somewhere so he could upgrade this, man. Like, there's no way he has a completely useless ability. Like, just give him 4 abilities. Like, it's completely useless. And if you don't break it down, if you don't really look into it, you wouldn't really even identify it. You really wouldn't even notice. So don't love it. Don't love stuff like that. But let's look at the tackling ratings for some of these other box specialists. So, actually 91 tackling. That's good. Who's the best tackling safety in the league? So it's combined between 2 box specialists, and then third, our cover specialists. So that kind of tells you maybe not a lot, because going through all of these box specialists are actually elite with tackling compared to the cover specialist. So that one guy is just an outlier. That one cover specialist, he's the only one with good tackling rating out of all the other coverage safeties. So that guy's an outlier. So I just want to look at the next best coverage specialist quickly. He has 99 speed, and you could get that with some of these safeties here, some of these coverage specialist safeties. And I just want to look at his tackling rating. Yep, 76. So that one guy just was a extreme outlier, just having elite tackling, elite. Oh yeah, the next best coverage specialist is a huge drop off. 89 man or zone coverage, 78 man. That's a big drop off compared to the first guy. The first guy had to be generational, or he's just on Georgia and they got elite coaches for safeties. But this guy, he don't look bad, but just nowhere near as spectacular as the first coverage specialist we looked at. Next, let's look at hybrid safeties. And one thing to note about the hybrid safeties, abilities, no go for the hybrid safeties, no go. So, your best hybrid safety is also going to be a little bit lower in overall than the other guys, is what I'm noticing. A little bit. Is it enough to where you shouldn't recruit them? No. Not like last year. Last year was bad. This year, they're usable. You can go after them if you want, but the best one is going to be a 90 overall with no abilities. The second best one, 89, 1 ability. These guys will not get an ability higher than silver. Third best is going to be this guy. He has 2 abilities, both on bronze. So these hybrid safeties, 1 ability here for this guy, bronze. These hybrid safeties are not getting abilities higher than bronze, man. They're really not. And I'll show you here in a second. Like, the abilities really are not thought out for some of these guys. So Buddy right here, Little John, he's a 90 overall from Michigan. And IQ going to cause 4 to upgrade. That has to do with your play recognition, your awareness, cheap. Pass coverage is going to be combined. So you get pass coverage and you get the zone coverage and the man coverage and press all in one. It costs 9, but it's already pretty high. That's pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. That's elite coverage stats. Elite coverage stats. So the conversion from hybrid safeties to corner is back. It's definitely back, especially with guys like this. 92 speed, that's good enough. And you get elite coverage. Elite. Press a little bit low, I'm fine with that. When I'm talking about 95 man, 92 zone, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Also, the acceleration is good. Change the direction, maybe a little bit low. But I might drop a whole video on hybrid safeties to corner because it's back. And then also with the position changes now being fixed for offline Dynasty, that update coming on Thursday. hey, you could now change all defensive backs. So you could change a corner to safety. You could change a safety to corner without increasing their skill caps. But also with these hybrid safeties, you are getting some tackling. 83 on the tackling. Not elite, but good enough. Pursuit 86. Like I said, not elite, but good enough tackling on these guys. And you'll see some of these other hybrid safeties with even better tackling. Better tackling on average than the coverage specialist. And I know we looked at that one outlier with 90 tackling. That's the only coverage specialist with tackling anywhere near that high. Everyone else is low 80s or mid 70s for the coverage specialist. And also power cost 12 here. Hit power, you're also not going to be able to hit sticks. 72 is not good enough to really do anything, which is interesting when you look at his abilities. Hands, catching the ball, 76. Spectacular catch here. Not great. You also don't get any chance to upgrade catching traffic, unlike you did with the other guys. Man, I think even with the box specialist, you could upgrade catching traffic, which is extremely interesting. Like, let's look at the box specialist real quick. I believe you could upgrade catching traffic, and yes, you can. You can upgrade catching traffic, spectacular catch, but for the hybrid safeties, you don't get that ability. So, like I said, just interesting how some of this stuff is laid out. But then looking at the abilities, this is where it really gets weird for me. So, wrap up is an ability that requires an 88 tackling. And I said this for a couple other videos. I think for certain position groups, we should lower the requirement for abilities. For a linebacker needing 88 tackling, okay, fine. For a safety, maybe lower that to an 83, 81 for bronze. Maybe lower it. So he could never get wrap up. Let's just be honest. Maybe never is a bad word, but no hybrid safety in the whole entire league right now has wrap up. So I feel like that tells me they could never get wrap up unless without manual progression. Auto progression, they're not upgrading tackling high enough to get this ability. They're just not. And I'll show you in a second. Hammer, improve hit stick, ability they would never get. 88 hit power. They come in with their hit power in like the 60s. They're not getting this ability. They're just never getting it. 88 hit power on a hybrid safety? No, it's a 72. What are we doing, man? Knockout. Ability he can upgrade. This is also a solid ability. Is it great? No. Compared to some of the other abilities on the other archetypes, it's not a great ability compared to that. Also, Aftershock. Another ability he can never get. This archetype gets 3 abilities they can never even talk to. But he also get blow up, which is ability for, pretty much stopping the run. When that O-lineman is getting to the second level, you're able to blow him up. A solid ability. Best thing in the world? No, but solid. So they absolutely cooked the hybrid safety abilities. So personally, I really do like the hybrid safety's attributes. I feel like you're kind of getting a little bit of everything. You're getting tackling, speed, and some coverage. Good coverage ability. You're getting the best of all 3 compared to the coverage specialist. Unless you're getting that a generational guy, elite guy, you're not getting the tackling. You're just getting the coverage and the speed. So that's why I kind of lean towards the hybrid safeties, but then you factor in the abilities and it's like, it looks bad. It looks bad. I just want to show y'all, man. Go to tackling, sort by the best tacklers in the nation. You got the one coverage specialist here. And let's go until we find our first hybrid safety for tackling. 83 and this Little John. The requirement for wrap-up is 88. This is the best tackling hybrid safety in the nation, and he would never, ever get that ability. Look at the next best tackling hybrid safety, 82. So you're talking about guys that would never get that tackling ability or that wrap-up ability. And let's also look at hit power. Hit power, 74. They're not getting that hit stick ability also, man. Like, the abilities definitely was not thought out, or almost seems like they wasn't thought out, is what I'm going to say, man. Maybe they were. Let's also sort by hit power, and we actually do get a hybrid safety with 87 hit power. Okay, we got one outlier. Do we see any other hybrid safety with hit power even in the 80s? And looks like no, we do not. So you got one hybrid safety that maybe could get the get that hit stick ability. Let's go ahead and look at him. He's an 82 overall with elite hit power for his archetype, but he's sacrificing coverage. He's not upgrading his coverage. His speed is okay. Tackling solid. Now, yeah, he just wants to get strong. 81 strength, injury all high, and he still cannot get aftershock. He still cannot get this ability. So yeah, interesting, man. Super interesting how some of this stuff really seems to not have been thought out. Let's quickly go over kickers and punters. So kickers, I'm gonna actually lean towards the accuracy guys, man, because the accuracy guys actually still have pretty good power, and they also get higher in overall. Do overall really matter for kicker? Probably not. They don't get drafted no matter what. But the higher the overall usually lead to more abilities for some of these accuracy kickers. Like just going through, I'm seeing these accuracy guys with more power or more abilities. And abilities is what really stands out, man. Deep range is probably the best ability for any kicker and punter. Deep range, easier accuracy timing on deep field goals. And like I said, probably just the best ability. This ability has to do with kick power, which is interesting when it's supposed to be easier accuracy, but you only need kick power for this ability. And then also chip shot, easier accuracy timing on short field goals. Guess what? Only requirement, kick power. Why is it? I have no idea why it's not accuracy, but also mega leg, that's pretty much the punting, or that's pretty much the ability for over kicking. But yeah, I'm actually gonna lean towards accuracy, but I think just the best meta for both kicker and punter is not the recruit one and let the AI give you one. They give you like a 3-star who can actually develop to be pretty good. So your best bet is just not recruit any kicker and punter and just have the CPU give you one. And also punting wise, I would say power for punter. Now, without getting too deep into the fullbacks, your best fullback option if you're actually looking at the position is going to be blocking, you know, overall wise, and then also just attribute wise also, man. These utility guys, they could be solid, but, you know, at this point, it's like, I want a fullback that can actually block, you know, that actually be a dog in the blocking game. And, you know, these utility guys are really not that. So I would lean towards blocking, and then also if you want to move, now you can do position changes. If you want to get a north-south blocker and move them to fullback, that also could be a good play. Last year, you was able to move blocking tight ends to fullback. This year, unfortunately, you moved that. His skill caps will increase. But north-south blocker might just be your best bet for a fullback and just moving one of them running backs over. But that's all I got for y'all boys today, man. If y'all have enjoyed this series, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all boys, and we on to the next one.